Hello everybody in the YouTube land. Today we're going to do a product review test evaluation thing. So I have from Midwest Industries the new Night Fighter rail in 13.5 inches long. I think it comes in like a 10.5 and 9.25 too, maybe. I'll put a link and you can see what all it comes in. But I got the rail handy and we'll chit chat a little bit about it, and then I'm going to put it to a test and a couple other rails as well. So the idea behind it is they were looking for a rail that when you mounted a laser to it so that you could run nods, it would have less deflection because the rail would be more rigid. It'd be stiff. So like if you were like leaned in on a barricade, it would not push the rail so far away from where the laser or where the bullet would impact. So your point of aim is on the rail and your point of impact comes from the barrel. And since they're free floated, you can change those. So their idea was to keep it from changing as much. And so I got the rail here. It comes in a box. So that's as much as I do with unboxing type videos. In it is a wrench with the information that you need, like the foot-pounds and shit lasered on the wrench, a piece of pick rail for all the M-lock, the rail itself, and a barrel nut. So the machining of the rail is been changed in order to make it more rigid. It is pick across the top and M-lock on all the other facets. So like 6, 3, and 9, like you would expect. And then the ones in between are also M-lock as well, not like big lightning cuts like some rails out there. You can notice at the back end, there's a little more things happening that I'm accustomed to, which is to accommodate this larger barrel nut. So the barrel nut slides into the rail further because obviously where two pieces connect, there's more potential for flex than there is anywhere else. So if you look at the normal barrel nut that comes on a Midwest rail, there is a distinct difference in size. So this one extends out further. They have put some lightning cuts in it. I'm sure their engineer types figured out where they could remove material without reducing the stiffness that they were looking for, but getting rid of some of the weight. I assume this doesn't come in a titanium option like this one does, but fucking bit ask. So it slides into the rail further, so the area at the back looks a little different on the outside. My main gun that I run nods with is a 10.5 inch gun, so I can't put this rail on that gun and just run it. So I got some other plans that I'm going to do here. I'm going to take this rail and install it on this upper, and this has a M-lock rail of some type, McCheese-tastic or something. I have no idea who made the rail, and I don't intend to keep it anyway. So if somebody is looking to buy this longer rail, M-lock rail, hit me up. It might be for sale. But I'm going to install that rail on this rifle, or this upper. This upper is going to end up being a dedicated UTM upper, so it will get a red dot and a flashlight on it. And if somebody wants to run this upper in a nods-based force-on-force class, they can. I'd imagine they'd probably just put a UTM kit in their own gun, but it will be available. And if so, they should see something with the rigidness of the Night Fighter rail. So what I'm going to do with this one and the other ones that I have to test is I bought a couple of cheap things off Amazon because they serve my purpose as well. And I didn't have to spend a lot of money to make this video. So I got this laser bore sighting kit, and it's got a laser. And then I got this cheap ass visible push button laser with a pick rail that also has a laser and stuff. So my intent is what will happen. I'm gonna put this in the bore at the muzzle and kick it on. I'm going to mount this to the rail, and then I'm simply going to apply pressure to the rail and see how much deflection we get. The two lasers will be, I'll put a piece of graph paper up, and I'm not even going to take the time to zero this laser to the other laser. We're just going to look and say, all right, they're currently 1 inch apart or whatever the hell it is on the paper. And then when we apply pressure, we'll just see how much they move. And then I will take those two items and I'll put them on a different rail, and we'll do that through a couple of them and see what kind of changes that we get. I'll even do it on the Cheese-tastic rail that's on here now. That's what I'm calling it, so that's what we're going to live with. So I'll do that first before I install the Midwest Night Fighter on this. And then we'll try some of the legacy Midwest rails, and I think I even have Geisley down there that we'll check and see what kind of results we get on laser movement. So that's the plan, and I'll be back once all that's done with some footage that we can talk about. All right, it's been a few hours. I fucked around with some stuff for a bit. So I went downstairs and I put my Midwest upper receiver rod in my vise, and 11 feet away I put a piece of graph paper, taped it to a piece of wood, and set a camera in front of it. And then what I did was I took the little fucking shitty laser sight and put it where the front sight post would, or the front sight, flip up front sight would be, and I put the laser bore sighter in the muzzle. And I did a simple, just whatever my right hand could do with my thumb, up, down, or left, right, up, down. From the bottom, I had I'll show you here. So I did like left, right, up, but when I went down, I had to do it this way so that my thumb wasn't covering the muzzle or the laser. But all of them had less deflection up and down than it did left, right, and that probably has something to do with there's pick rail on the top and not the bottom. But so one side has a much more rigid structure than the other, and the sides are just all M-lock on all of them. So I did that first with the, what did I call it? The McCheesinator, McCheesemo, something with cheese on this rail. I don't know who makes it. It literally just says Made in USA and the M-lock logo. So I don't know who fabricated said rail. Has a garbage aluminum barrel nut that is easily deformed with an actual wrench. It doesn't has flats on it, and it's still, anyhow, regardless. I did that one, and then I used my fancy dancy, it's right side up, Midwest barrel wrench, and I took this one off, and then I installed the Night Fighter rail with said wrench and a the tool, the torque wrench. Ah, there we go. All right. So, had the camera, I'll show that like over here or fucking in the big part of the screen or something. I did zero the two lasers together, or as well as I could see from 11 feet away. They were like pretty close to on top of each other. Super fucking bright. They're cheap. I had no way to dim them. So like the better way, I guess, would have been to be further away so they didn't blossom so much. But like I had to pick with, where the vise on my workbench was so that I could mount the upper solid. I didn't want to just hold the gun and then sway the measurements by, moving the gun while I was trying to press the barrel and whatnot. So I just put the uppers on the rod, took out all the guts and whatnot. And on the cheese dick rail, I keep getting black shit all over my hands from one of these guns. Probably that upper receiver rod. It had about, or a little more than 1 inch of deflection just from my right hand at 11 feet. So the pressure that I could apply to the barrel at 11 feet was 1 inch away. You can extrapolate that to whatever distance you want. It's a fair amount of deflection. It too is a 13.5 inch rail. So then the next best performer was this Gen 3 rail from Midwest Industries, and it's got the old bolt up system. I don't think that system is as good as the new one. That's just my hunch from a guy who used to build shit. This is in the awesome, like when they anodized flat dark earth, and like I love the fact that like I like those colors. I like it better than Cerakote. But a bunch of people whined and complained because batch to batch and 6,000 series, 7,000 series that anodize the same color, and you all boo-hoo-hoo-hooed. And so it was easier for them to not anodize anything but black and then Cerakote if you wanted colors. But anodizing is way more awesome than Cerakote. So thanks for ruining it, people. Anyhow. It had, now mind you, this is a 12.6 inch rail, so it's not quite apples to apples because I don't have it in 13.5. But it got 3/4 of an inch of deflection. Now, this also has a pencil barrel in it. So the pencil barrel may have had some flex, but I don't think the barrel had any flex compared to the rail. Steel, aluminum, like, I just don't think the barrel is what was having the deflection. But it is not apples to apples because there's an M4 profile on the other one. But 3/4 of an inch on this rail. Then I had a couple of rails that tied this 12.6 inch ultra light rail from Midwest Industries. So it was a little shorter, but it too has a pencil barrel that may have more flex. It does not have pick on the top. It is some M-lock. How well you can see that. So that shouldn't be as rigid as the pick rail, but it still had a 1/2 of an inch of deflection. So, but it was a little shorter, but it didn't, you know, like, so again, not apples to apples. Now over here, we're going to get into some more apples and apples, because tied with that was this Geisley rail, and they have like a Mark everything, and I don't know what one this is, but it is a 13.5 inch rail. So it is apples to apples. It is not, it looks roughly M4 profile underneath. So that too had a 1/2 inch of deflection. So a much more robust rail than the ultra lightweight with a more robust barrel, and that and the ultra lightweight seem to be about the same. Now, mind you, it's whatever my hand could do, so I didn't get fucking weights and test units and a bunch of rails and cut them all off at 10 inches or something. This is as unscientific as you're going to claim it, and as scientific as I could make it. And then the king of this was the Night Fighter rail. Once I put that on this upper, now that's M4 profile barrel, and installed per their instructions, was only getting a 1/4 of an inch, or like the width of the laser past a 1/4 of an inch from flexing. It too is 13.5. So I had 3 rails at 13.5, and they went from really bad to okay to good, or however you want to call it. And then the two 12.5 inch barrels pretty much tied the Geisley, or the one did. The other one, the older style, was in between. So that was the order in which they go. So my plan for this guy is it's going to get a grip stop on it, because everything does that I own. I'm going to throw a UTM bolt in this. I'm going to put the really high rise Midwest T1 mount on it and buy like a Hollow Sun for on the top, and find an old maybe the Hollow Sun laser, or dude selling a used D-ball, and make this a dedicated force on force upper for use with night vision. So there's, that could be the thing. And then hell, it might go to a whole gun. I might have some extra lowers floating around here. But that is the task for this gun. I'll probably put a scout light, not a scout light, the streamlight version of a scout light with the Midwest mount, laser, grip stop, UTM bolt, and make this my night vision UTM dedicated upper, which would be pretty all right. If you didn't realize, there are UTM classes on the horizon in 2022 here at Tremis Dynamics, and there will be force on force in that night vision stuff as well. So end of the day, if you're looking for a rail that has less deflection, is very rigid, I would look at the Midwest Industries Night Fighter rail. And of course, it just makes sense. If you get shorter ones, they will have even less deflection. So maybe the 9 1/4 inch version was what might end up on my SBR, and we'll roll with that. So that's what I got. Hopefully you found this interesting, and you can run out and grab yourself a Night Fighter rail from Midwest Industries. Take it easy. All right, this McCheese Dick rail is $20. First person that tells me they want it and Venmos me $20 can have it. If we have to ship it, it's going to cost you more, but you get the idea. That's as much value as I can put on it.